No matter where you are in your producer journey, you know that there's a lot to learn and it can be difficult to improve. So today I'm breaking down 6 valuable tips that'll make your beats so much better. The first tip is to experiment with new sounds. If you're watching this video, you know the feeling of scrolling through your VST and finding some of the most random sounds ever, but you should be experimenting with those sounds. I'm not saying your beats should just be the first preset you find every time, but you should at least see how they sound. Don't just take my word for it. Industry producers do this all the time. Look at Benny X and Yee. They started using sounds that were really not popular at the time, but they made them work and now are two of the biggest guys in the industry. Don't overdo it, but just know that creating a new catchy sound is how people like Benny X and Yee are able to blow up so quickly. The next tip is active listening. Most of the time when you listen to music, you just let it play in the background while you study, drive, or do whatever. And this is fine, but it's not really going to help you grow as a producer. If you want to improve, the next time you listen to music, pay super close attention to everything you can. Pay attention to things like how loud each sound is, what sounds come into where, and what works well together. This is going to help you learn what you do and don't like in a beat, and applying this to your own music is going to let you grow a lot faster. My next tip is to get good drum sounds. Now this might be confusing with number 1 about experimenting with new sounds, but trust me, they're very different. When you're scrolling through presets on a good VST, they're all going to be pretty much the same quality, but when you're listening to drum sounds from all over the internet, it can vary a lot. So you want to make sure that your drum sounds are consistently good. And if you're wondering how to do this, don't worry, I got you. Go to r/drumkits and you are going to find countless drum kits that are actually good. And if you don't believe me, Mike Dean uses these drum kits and he's one of the best producers in the industry, so I would definitely recommend checking it out. My 4th tip is to increase your value as a producer. This might not be super clear, but I promise I'll explain. These days, competition for producers is extremely high, so you need to stand out in some way. And unfortunately, making good beats will only take you so far, and there's more you have to do. Not only should you be posting regularly on social media, but you should be reaching out to other producers and artists. Start off working with smaller artists and slowly work your way up as you become more and more well known, and eventually you'll be working with huge artists. My advice would be to treat the other producers and artists like humans and form genuine connections with them so you can go far together. And this isn't the only way you can get yourself to stand out. You should be bragging about all your abilities. So for example, if you play the guitar, put that in your bio or post videos about it. People will notice and they'll reach out and pretty much do the work of getting connections for you. And before you'll know it, you'll have tons of connections. My 5th tip is to learn basic theory. For some reason, music theory is kind of controversial, especially within rap producers. Some say you don't need it at all, and some say you need it way more than you actually do. But the right answer is somewhere in the middle. Yes, there are good producers on both sides of this argument, but knowing too little theory can cause you to have a lot of weird sounding melodies, and learning too much could honestly just be a waste of your time. I would recommend you learn the basics like your scales and how to build a chord, which honestly shouldn't take more than 10 minutes to learn. Once you know this, you can decide if you want to continue learning or not. The last tip is something I haven't really heard anyone talk about, but I have found that it has been super important for me, and that is to take care of yourself. At the end of the day, you're still a human being, and it seems like a lot of producers push themselves really hard to make as many beats as they possibly can. I know it might sound counterintuitive to spend less time making beats and more time taking care of yourself, but hear me out on this one. 2 of the most important things as a producer are quality and creativity. And if you don't feel good, these things are going to be hard to achieve, which is backed by countless scientific studies. So instead of cranking out 10 beats that really aren't anything special, take a break, get some water, get some sleep, and make good, creative, quality beats, because those are going to take you a lot farther than the mediocre ones will. Start applying these tips today and I guarantee you'll see a change over time. DM me on Insta if you have any questions, and thanks for watching.